I'm Bill Stevenson, the news director for iFiber One News. We've asked all 60 candidates in 30 elections in Grant County to join us to talk about the issues. Today, we're going to talk to Mike Norman, a candidate for the City Council of Moses Lake. His opponent, Greg Nevarez, declined to take part in our process. So, we're going to ask him a few questions about the issues and get to know our candidate. Hi, Mike, how are you?
Hi, Bill, how are you? Thanks for inviting me. I really appreciate your time.
Great. How about we start off with you telling a little bit about yourself and what made you decide to run for City Council?
Well, we'll start with why I decided to run. I really believe in Moses Lake. I think that the city has huge potential, and that we need to have a vision that taps into that potential. The words I always use is prosperity, safety, and ownership. And those are the mantra words that I use in my campaign. Now, as far as myself, I'm educated as an engineer and as an attorney. I was a builder for 30 years. I was an attorney for 10 years, and have been working on a development in Moses Lake.
All right, thank you. So can you describe the importance of open government for us? As a news service, we find this particularly an important topic.
Well, open government, not only is it important, but that importance is enshrined in state statute. And I believe it's important that any government body know what those statutes say and follow those statutes.
Okay. So what is the most important thing to you to improve in Moses Lake if you're elected?
Well, Moses Lake, I believe that our role is to create a physical and social infrastructure that attracts more industry, better paying jobs to Moses Lake. And to overall, with those coming in town, it improves our overall quality of life. So that's really my number one priority.
All right. What experiences do you have that will help you be a city council member if you're elected?
Well, I am a great believer in teams. Part of my consulting work had to do with team building. I still do a little of that. I'm a great believer in how teams can succeed. I would like the city council to function as a team. I believe they can do great work if they believe that they're a team, if they work as a team. So I would like to see that happen if I get on the council.
Okay. People talk about government providing essential services. And it's been an interesting year for discussions about Moses Lake and the services they offer. What services do you think the city of Moses Lake should offer their residents?
Well, we have the basic services that any municipality should be offering. There's fire protection, and there's police protection. There's, in many cases, water and sewer services and the like. Moses Lake provides some services that go beyond what I would call the basic services, and to the extent that they improve the quality of life in a cost-effective manner, Moses Lake should continue to do those.
And what do you believe are the priorities for funding within the city?
Well, the priorities, there's so many competing priorities. There's never enough money to do all of the things that you would like to do. So you have to take care of the basics first. So in my opinion, our fire, our police, our streets, and our overall municipal services have to come first. After that, we look into the other services that we can provide. And if we run into budget problems with some of these other services, perhaps we need to consider things like fee for services and things of that nature.
Okay. We spoke a little bit before we started taping this episode about the ambulance service. Can you reflect on that, and if you feel it's going in the right direction, or what your solution would be for the ambulance service in Moses Lake?
Well, the fire department made a report on the ambulance service yesterday evening at the city council meeting, and they believe that it has been very successful in eliminating the long-haul ambulance from the fire department. They're now able to man station number 2 at the full manning, which they were unable to do before. And this, I believe, is very important because it affects the firefighting ability of any calls that go into Station 2. Overall, their solution, at the City Council's solution, seems to be working just fine.
Thank you. So what do you see as the role of municipal government in having residents maintain their property? And this is regard to code enforcement. Do you see a problem in how it's been handled or a way maybe to improve it?
Well, there's always room for improvement in doing anything. I think we all would agree with that. We have to balance the rights of property owners, individual property owners, with the rights of the surrounding properties. As an attorney, we always talked about the bundle of sticks as far as owning a piece of land. You don't own all rights to a piece of land, especially in a city. There are certain reservations, whether they're easements and some such. To code enforcement, we need to ensure that our properties are maintained in some sort of manner that is compatible with our neighbors. After all, that's what we're really doing, is we're living together. Now, there's another aspect of code enforcement that is, I think, important, is that if the city pays attention to resolving the little problems, many times the big problems don't occur. It's called the broken window philosophy, and I tend to agree with it. Now, if someone it seems like some of our code enforcement issues have to do with weeds and some such. Perhaps we need to be looking at, well, what's that all about? On the other hand, if we have code enforcement problems with abandoned vehicles or abandoned vehicles, we need to handle that. We need to not have that in our town.
Okay. Recently, the city announced 5 finalists for a city manager, and I was wondering if you could share with us what traits and experiences you're looking forward to seeing in the person chose to be the new city manager of Moses Lake.
Well, I know what the process has been. I believe that the process has focused on candidates who have prior city management experience. I'm not sure that that is the overriding requirement. What's really needed is a person who has an appreciation for a budget and has people management skills. Because after all, that's really what a city manager does. He has a staff, he has certain tasks that the city has to undertake, and he has to budget the funds appropriately. Whether that is a quality that comes from prior city management experience is up to some question. I myself am a product of the private sector, and I believe that those qualities of people management and an appreciation for a budget are well appreciated in the private sector also.
Thank you. Now, another topic that comes up every few years and has come again this year was the issue about the city banning people from owning rabbits and chickens, not roosters, but chickens on their property. We've heard quite a bit about it, but I'm wondering where you stand on this issue.
Well, I stand in exactly the same place when I first heard about it. This is not an issue that we need to rediscover the wheel. There's a lot of municipalities around that have ordinances in place that recognize the proper keeping of such animals. I believe the city of Portland is one. And if we're going to do that, then let's see how other municipalities are handling the issue successfully and pattern our own response appropriately.
Okay. As the city expands economically and we have industry buying property at the edge of city limits. Mose Lake is known for annexing that property. How do you feel about that take of property and in bringing those companies in?
Well, it's been my understanding that annexations occur because the property owners asked to be annexed. So that's number one. The city then has the choice of annexing the property or not. And what I would like to see the city do is undertake an organized approach, looking at the costs and the benefits of any particular annexation. The costs may include such things as bringing streets up to municipal standards. They may include installing sidewalks where there are none. The benefits, of course, is increased tax revenues to the city. Perhaps another cost that is out there with an annexation is, what is the effect on our fire protection and on our police protection? At what point are we stretching those resources?